What's going on, everybody? It's Danny from Slow Restoration, and today we have a 2016 Chevy 1500, and we are installing a Curt Hitch on the front of this truck. Actually, the guy's going to be installing a snowplow and this is how the snowplow mounts, so he needs a hitch on the front. So that's what we're going to be doing. Let's get up on the lift and get started. All right, we have it unpacked here. We have the hitch there, all the hardware there. First thing you have to do is actually notch the front fascia. Get a better view here. You can see the front of the truck here. This bottom piece of the fascia, 1.5 up, needs to be notched 3 inches across. That's exactly where the hitch is going to sit. So we'll get that notched out and be able to get that hitch up in place and mark to drill the holes. And there we have it. We have our notch cut up in there. Here's the piece that came out. I just used a cutoff wheel, cut through it like butter. Just, mark your center. If you have this indent, you can go measure off of. That's right in the center of the vehicle. You can come down. It's 3 inches across. You can just get your center mark. Actually, inside there's a screw hole where that bolted on. So you can get your center mark off that, measure over 1.5 inches. That gives you a 3 inch. Slice that out and the hitch fits right in there. Excuse me. So we'll hold the hitch up in there. These two holes here are your access hole to fish the rest of the bolts through, but they also serve as your alignment hole for the front. That's actually a mounting hole there and one there. So we'll get that held up in there and put a jack stand under it and mark for the rest of the holes and get them drilled. All right, now we have it propped up there with the jack stand. You can see it comes right centered through that slot we cut, access hole. And over here, see up in there, it lines up that front hole on this side that's existing in the frame rail, and the same thing with this side lines up with that. There's some plates and bolts that will cover that hole and tighten all of that up. We just have to mark for that hole, and 2 more on this side, right there. So we'll get that straightened up, marked, drop it back down, and fish our bolts through and get this bolted up. We got the hitch dropped back down. Our holes are marked. I drilled pilot holes, 2 on this side, 2 on this side. So now we're ready to drill the 17/32 hole through and then fish our bolts, carriage bolts, and retainers up in there. Make sure you have safety glasses on because you will get showered with hot chips as we're drilling here. With those holes drilled, now comes a slightly tricky part. They give you this fish wire. It's got a coil on the end of it to thread the bolt on. So we're going to actually reverse thread it first. We're going to put it in through here, feed it down the frame rail, and you'll see it come out right there. We'll grab that, pull it down. It's going to be tricky to do this with one hand, so I'm going to have to set this down. See if I can get a set up here. All right, I think we can do that. So we have the washer that goes on. That's going to go on there first. And then we have the bolt, the carriage bolt. And we're going to thread that right onto the coil. Just like a nut. We'll put the washer up in there first. Grab that end, kind of get it started to pull. Get that pulled right over, just like that. We'll unthread that off of the bolt. Probably can't see that. Got the bolt through there. We'll unthread this. And we'll do the same thing for the next 3 holes. And we have those thread through. The last step here is a little bit different. I thought it was going to be a little trickier at first, but you just assemble it just like you would with the other 4 bolts. except it's not in the frame rail. It's obviously outside here. You push the bolt up inside. Take this washer, push that up in there, and just pull everything right back down through and unthread. Very easy, very simple. And we'll remove this and we're ready for the hitch. Putting it back up in there could be a little bit tricky because you can't push, you gotta line all these bolts up, all 6 of them per side, or you'll push them right up in the frame rail. Of course, I'm doing it on the lift, which is probably a little bit more difficult, but it's easier to film. So if you're doing it on the ground, you could probably use a jack and maybe 2 jacks and assist you a little bit. But these bolts are loose, so you can't push up on them. We'll just carefully start these nuts, and once we get them started, then we can pull down and finish tightening. Get the rest of the nuts right on here, and we'll get ready to torque it down. Now that you have all the nuts on there, you can just go over and make sure it's centered exactly where you want to. You still have a little bit of wiggle room here. Nuts are a little tight, but you do have a little wiggle room still, so you can go through and adjust it to your liking. Make sure it's centered in that slot that you cut and centered in the vehicle. And then we'll go ahead and use our torque wrench here and torque them down with a 7/8 socket to 110 foot-pounds. And there we have it, all mounted up on there, centered up on the truck good. It's actually hidden up in there pretty good. We got all 6 fasteners torqued down to 110 foot-pounds, both sides. Looks good, nice and clean install. I'm sure they recommend retorquing these after so many miles or uses, or you should always just keep an eye, make sure everything stays tight, but it's on there. He should be good to go. You can actually use this for, he's using it for a snowplow, but you can also use it for whatever. You can put a receiver in there and use it for winching. All different types of applications. And the part number on this one was, let's see here. Looks like it was a 31069 from Curt. And it fits 2014 current Chevy GMC pickups, 1500. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and we do small projects like this from time to time, so tune back in. You might learn something. Thanks, and have a good day.